From the forecast tower engagements, the POI early game battles, 1-1 for King and Phaser. Mongraal and Savage keep getting third-partied. What are going to be the changes, Jacob, that these players make to put the odds in their favor as Pink, Vico, Kido Kiro, the battle for the forecast tower turned into a 50-50 off the start. Weapon goes to Kiro and Kido, and looks like they are going to take the 2 elims.
Well, that's one way to take control of the forecast tower instead of waiting. And that's what I was talking about. The camping, getting there first is important, but the fights all around the map are just starting so quickly. Thomas goes down after a miraculous performance as a solo. It's going to be all up to Queasy here by himself, but he definitely does have the hammer pump and the striker. If he can solidify one of these fights into a 1v1, he will have a huge chance to clutch up.
From the solo rampage that Thomas had in the previous late game to now getting elimed off the start, leaving it up to Queasy. Is Queasy gonna be able to bring them back from this early game? He's not in a good place at all. Being a 1 versus 2, being forced to let his opponents heal up, loot up. He's really gonna have to do something special to get out of this.
Even though they know that he has to go back for the reboot card onto Thomas, it's almost like he doesn't have a chance to loot it up just yet. He has to kind of build himself up before he kind of makes that chance to go back on over towards Lavish Layer. But for now, it's Noms and Cringe who are going to be able to claim it as their own. And what they're doing here is they're making sure Queasy isn't anywhere in sight, not too much around, so that way they can go for that NPC uncontested.
You can see how quickly he disengaged, but we'll take a look. Fencing Fields as well. Highly contested POI spot. 3 duos landing here. Throughout most of the matches, though, it has seemed that Malabuka and Murstache are the duo that secures the medallion, that secures that mythic loot, and eventually the vault. Will that trend continue? Will their opponents get a bit more aggressive? As Diox and Cade, you can even see they are leading the pack in terms of points.
Yeah, just consistency overall has been kind of destroying the playing field, even if they aren't picking up a ton of eliminations. But that's the thing, even though they're not getting the fencing field loot, they're still able to do wonders with their game plan. Just got to imagine what happens when one of these teams falls way below the points that they kind of gather in some of these games. As he not only gets the mythic loot, he finds the gold one as well. Savage by himself. I do believe Mongraal was dropped off earlier on in this same game as Nate and Lane are just taking over the Ship It station.
Mongraal, Savage put into panic as they got to figure out what can they do. Even if they come out on top in the 2 versus 2 off the start, there's so many players in the surrounding area. The duo's waiting for that to happen so they can third party. There's almost no way to get out of that situation unless they're able to finish the engagement almost instantly. Oh, but be careful. If you saw what I saw, Jacob, I think I saw a little Queasy there crouched up behind the register waiting to take someone's order. Is Ark hungry though? Is he thirsty? Does he want to drink from the gas station? I hope not.
Uh-oh.
This could be massive to turn Queasy's game around.
Oh, he has to go in there eventually though, that's the thing. He has to go in there to collect all that gold. Queasy, he has to be perfect here, land the shot. In goes Ark. This is his chance. Queasy's just being very careful. First shot's gonna go through, and that's gonna be a monster of a shot. Ark is by himself. His teammate in the minimap trying to close the distance, trying to alleviate some of that pressure. Shots come in. Queasy gets a knock on the Ark. That is gonna be one, but Rickmore's there to revenge his teammate, and he gets it with ease onto Queasy. A nice attempt coming out, just wasn't enough to pull them over. And Queasy and Thomas are down.
Got the initial shot off. Was not able to box him up in time, though. Good reaction time, to be fair, by his opponent there. Just holding off until his duo came to help out. Queasy, I don't think even got the full finish, only the knock, so won't be getting those 4 points. As a reminder, it is 4 points per elimination today, but tomorrow the points do multiply by 1.5, so it's 6 points per elim tomorrow. As we look back at Ski Hen, we're just kind of looking around to see if there's any players rotating.
Yeah, it does look like, I do believe they're going to get that forecast tower for themselves, unless anybody's willing to make the risky play and try to go for it and contest them. So one Forecast Tower down. Pink and Vico went down to kind of start the game, so you got to imagine Kiro and Kuduo are claiming that for themselves. Right on cue, thank you very much. So that's 2 Forecast Towers down, seeing who's really giving themselves the best opportunity to take the game. And look at Kuduo's inventory, no shotgun at all. What a risky play, because if they were to get contested, not only are they separated, I'm not sure how well he's going to be able to fight back with just a striker.
I mean, we talked about looking at the feed in these lobbies. The players in the surrounding areas that could potentially third party would have seen that Pink and Vico got eliminated right off the bat. And basically means that Kiro and Kuduo are going to be more than healthier. Or healthier enough to get that Forecast Tower. But Giro's Cherry, they were looking like they had the tower for themselves. But now, Putrick, Swizzy, they say, we want that rotate. We want to be able to see those zones. And Giras gets cracked. This could be more than enough. Was it the NPCs that spawned in that did all that damage? Was it Swizzy? As he gets the knock, it seems. The 1 versus 2 now for Putrick and Swizzy.
Oh, I thought he was going to go in there and try to activate it real quick. It's down. Anybody can grab it, but the cone is stopping the terminal from easily being accessible. As you said, Gears is already going to get chopped down. Putrick is ready to go on the hunt with the Flowberry Fizz. They haven't even gathered the Forecast Tower yet. I'm assuming with a little bit of hesitation from Swizzy, he's going to try to capture it before it's too late.
Forecast Tower will be captured. Putrick now trying to hunt down this player that's escaped from his line of sight. But with zone closing, it is the second zone. It's not going to be too dangerous to stay in it, especially as quickly as they can rotate. But it looks like Putrick's going to give up on that idea. He kind of took a look, said, nah, maybe not. As he goes back to Swizzy now. And they're grouped up.
Yeah, that was looking a little cautious there for a moment. But for Putrick and Swizzy, not too many worries for them. Still trying to go on a sniping spree, seeing a team trying to build and move their way forward. Forecast Tower is going to be secured. Swizzy making that call for himself, letting Putrick get confident. That's Robound and Axe Force in the distance that Swizzy and Putrick are potentially trying to gatekeep on out before they move their way forward. They have multiple ways to rotate here, whether the grapple blade or the launch pad right above them. The choice is definitely theirs.
You can see, too, there's not even that many. I didn't see a single duo based up on the edge of the zone as well. So Swizzy Putrick shouldn't have too many issues as they rotate on in. For Cammy and Seti, they have pulled this initial zone quite close to their drop spot, so they haven't had to rotate too far at all. But they have had to continue looking for those shots. There's only one duo currently in their line of sight, and he's unable to hit that initial sniper shot.
Very quiet performance so far as well from Cammy and Seti. Something that you don't typically see, but when you do see them start off slow in an event, it is the early portion, so don't be too surprised if you see them have a global championship style performance in the finals where they were able to catch up on the tail end. Yanis and Flixie rotating. They haven't had to rotate too far, though, from Reckless Railways. They're just trying to leave the POI, get some surge, backtrack in their steps. They know where all the loot is at over here towards Reckless Railways, so it won't be hard for Flixie to find the HP he needs.
See on the mini-map, there are a few duos, but they're all kind of in the surrounding areas of Reckless. Nothing too close. For Eclipse and Dexy, though, what's gone wrong here? Porhawa is going to be the player up against them. No duo partner, so it's a 1v1.
A team that plays so well. Multiple second places throughout the qualification process. Even got a first place just to get this far. Doesn't want to give up on that play. Eclipse is still going to be knocked. Dexy's the one that has to play defensive. Porhawa goes in, doesn't land the shots he needs. Everything gets turned upside down. Eclipse, the revive was actually able to go off. Now it's a 2v1. Porhawa has to make the decision. Do I continue to hold my spot or disengage? And that decision is going to be made rather quickly with him running out of materials, running out of time. Dexy, Eclipse, they're going to continue to be on the chase. And it's a short-lived chase as they find the elimination and send that full team back to the lobby.
Perfect timing to pick up his duo partner there. Porhawa unable to stop it, leading to his demise. Volko, Vortex is now right beside Ping and Mixon's box, just kind of eyeballing them down. You can tell they're hungry. They want something here. They want a little snack. Issue is, third zone is quite a ways away. They will have to make a rotate here, but at the same time, if they can get a bit of damage, I don't know. The question is, who's going to rotate first? Who's going to be the duo to kind of initiate this? As there's also a lot of players in the surrounding areas that are going to be doing the same.
Yeah, I can imagine yelling at each other through the cones. You rotate first, because you know as well as I do what you're kind of alluding to. If you rotate first, you're susceptible to kind of getting tagged up. You're susceptible to kind of getting focused there in the lobby. But then you do have priority if you're able to make it through unscathed, kind of continue to rotate ahead of everybody else. Malibuca and Merstash, they made that rotation very, very quickly in this game to try to get them a spot, which isn't too far off from their POI. Just south of them is going to be fencing fields, but they're separated. Merstash has a tower on top of a small hill. They're just trying to increase the chances of them being able to get surged so they don't have to worry about it later in the game during rotations.
You know, normally I'm not too against duos being separated when they have kind of like two separate towers, two elevated locations that they've kind of built bases on, but Malibuca being so low, it's not like he even has that much vision on the opponents, and they are far enough that it could get risky, but we'll switch over to Aqua Noah, who are going straight for the box fighting to get that damage. They are by Hazy Hillside, opposite side of the map from what we've been looking at, but it looks like iDrop Nebs aren't interested as they continue to rotate.
Yeah, and I know we were making all these jokes. You know, what year is it? With the people qualifying, Aqua, Mongrel, a lot of our OGs make it to this far, but it just kind of shows that they still got it. Especially Noah and Aqua starting this game off in 7th place so far throughout 2 games, been pretty consistent. And this one could be the one to kind of push them over the top ahead of that point curve, because usually after game 3, that's when you see the curve start to form where you're out on the leaderboard. You're either on top with very little worries or you're in the middle. That's where you really got to pick up your game.
Let's take a look here at what Cammy was able to do. Looks like they caught Sined off guard here. Just one quick frenzy shot's all it's gonna take. Be careful though, huge shot landed onto Cammy. Dropped him down to 50 HP, forced to recuperate his HP and shield back up. The good news is 3 medkits, 3 big pots, has basically everything you would need to continue going. But you can see now they are rotating in on a side of the zone that has a lot of duos already based up and finishing their rotates even. If you look at the bottom right at the mini map. So even if they take a minute to pause here in this bush and kind of take a look at where those duos are, they could plan an efficient route.
Yeah, with the zone pulling towards the north, pulling towards the east, I do believe there will be a gap if they continue to either move towards the eastern part of the zone, because a lot of those teams will already have rotated in. Merstash gets a knock on the Buell. Cammy and Seti just kind of eyeing up their rotation, waiting for a lot of these teams in, so that way they can spot them out and figure out where the next spot is going to be for them. Noah makes this one look easy. Darkies goes in and out of that box almost simultaneously with a well-placed couple shots.
Merstash now, Reaper in hand. But with 413 damage above the threshold, it's not like they're in an urgency to do much more. You can see the floppers on the ground. The big pots, spare one's gonna be popped here. What's the rotate they're planning? They have the grapple blades. The big pot coming, getting put to good use here, as it's Raban and his duo partner close by.
Yeah, a lot of the spots just getting more and more congested with each waving second. Even sounds like a reboot van is going off, and they're trying to chase that one. That's Darky. He's lost his teammate maybe a couple of minutes ago, if that, and now he's just fighting to keep their game alive here in game 3. Raisin is going to get dropped to just a sliver of HP. Is he going to get anything off? No, he's not. But that's no worries. They're close to zone. They have more than enough med kits. This is a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Instead of wasting one of those med kits earlier, going from 10 HP all the way to 100, now he's going to start off at 30.
Look, Resident Video, we're not letting that one slide. They heard the reboot coming through, instantly crash padding as Nebs instantly getting a knock now. 1v1, but not gonna be enough as Miko is gonna finish him off. Question is now, he has to pick up his duo partner, but the third party is too dominant. Gets elimed. Nate, duo partner, Scree lane now as well. after taking out Mongrel and Savage, they have 3 elims on the board. They're not done yet.
Now they want to go ahead and make an off-spawn battle like that count. Kind of get as many points as possible because nothing is guaranteed going up against a team like Mongrel and Savage, especially with multiple third parties that we've already seen throughout 3 games wanting to disrupt that and try to pick up points on any weak opponents. They have so much distance to cover before they find that safety in towards the zone. And since they got to go over the mountain, they can't even crash pad right out of the gate to get there.
The zone's always difficult on thin ice in the hills. It opens up some opportunities to kind of use that natural environment to block some shots as you rotate. But at the same time, when it's full of duos, full of players doing the same, it makes it that much more difficult. And look at this. Once again, Jacob, the kind of bush base, I guess I'll call it, that Janus and Flixie have continued to do, where I'd say it uses just as much materials as a regular box, but you have a lot more vision. And the opponents don't even know exactly where you're taking those shots from. You can see now all the rifts from Rift Island coming through, the launch pads, a bunch of birds in the sky. They're basically just aim training right now. Unfortunately, it looks like they need to put a bit more hours into it, as not a shot has been landed yet, but hopefully the snipe unable to connect.
Yeah, I got to be thanking Janus there for grabbing that smart pistol. The few shots that were able to connect and get them above the damage threshold, or continuously, I should say, came from that smart pistol with the lock-on feature. Reason Vidil under pressure yet again from one fight to the next. That's Casper on the other side, and a quick knock going to be found by Reason. Duo has no other choice but to disengage and continue moving forward in zone. And another lifeline has been grabbed by Vidil and Reason, because look at the med kits, look at the shields and the material they were able to get because of that.
You're gonna see now, it is 6 zone. It's gonna be ticking 2 every second here, so they will have to pop some med kits. They have the Flowberry Fizz to grant them that mobility boost, even the grapple blades to continue, but by this zone, you can see there's a lot of duos already built up on the edge, so they will be looking back, especially if they heard shots. So Resident Vidil are gonna have to be careful here, but do they even want more? Still hungry for another elim. They get the crack, but quickly realize, you know what, maybe we should rotate the zone first, and then we can hold them from there.
Great decision for them, because now when the zone does open up, there's going to be a lot of space for them to work with. A couple duos around as well. They got to be careful. Saw Pablo getting cracked over there towards the side. Kiduo and Kiro teamed up as well. Lazen forced to be by himself until Lox reunites. He was the one that got tagged up on the edge of zone not too long ago. Malibuca Mustache, almost 300 damage above the threshold. This is a team that we thought being contested was one of the worst things that can happen to them, and I feel like that's a blessing in disguise the way they're playing.
100%. I'm thinking back though, Kiro, Kiduo, they do have the forecast tower, so seeing that they're based up on the edge could be, because next zone is going to pull there once again. Pixie though, only 8 below, but that 8 damage is going to be enough to potentially take him out of the match here. There it is, gets eliminated to Storm Surge. Mustache Malibuca gonna be rewarded now with a mythic item and a medallion. More than enough loot here, and it's King Phaser beside them.
It's their second medallion, second mythic weapon. Looking to be the final boss if you can collect them all. King Phaser, you said, not too far away from that box, but they're so far below the damage threshold. They might have no other choice but to try to box fight Malibuca and Mustache if none of these teams get close enough that they can put some shots through. But it's King. Instead of dealing damage, he takes another couple of shots, forced to use his very last big pot.
Pressure is on for the duo. Chaos unfolding as Storm Surge is now active. No sniper rifle in King's hand. It's what's made him turn around from these situations time and time again. As now what has to be done is a full-on entry to an opponent's box, and it comes through. The first knock is secured. The 2v1 is still active, but Surge is still ticking. One more tick and King gets eliminated here.
Oh no, just dropped down to 5 HP. Phaser's already down. Storm Surge, Mini's gonna be popped just in time. Second one goes through, but still 50 below before he finally makes the desperate attempt to try to get some shots onto Clownski. He goes down along with Phaser, and before placement points as well, so they got very little for this game.
Clown, Grolls now gonna pick up the extra loot from King and Phaser. 101 above from those eliminations. That engagement was also a savior for the duo as we check out now. Yanis Flixie, be careful as the Storm Surge aggression continues, but Flixie unfazed.
Oh no. From unfazed to just getting cracked there momentarily. That's how Yanis was kind of left as a solo. Again, another big team on that leaderboard. Losing someone before placement points can go in. Yanis quickly rotating on over. Flowberry Fizz, you see him falling slowly but surely down that damage threshold, which is fine and dandy for now, but he's gonna have to start going on the lookout. Once zone closed, Cammy find a huge elimination onto Tayson. A little bit of a rematch from the Invitational going against Veno next, but he's gonna get chopped down and get everything for himself.
Veno got ticked by Surge in the last moment there, making him get eliminated. All these veterans, you can see how difficult it has been to get enough damage. As time and time again, we see these players go down to Surge. Shimoki now, could he be the next victim? What above? Not gonna hold on too long as now 20 below. Misha though, Teeny straight into a knock. Can they secure the finish? Pressure from the side, third party's coming through. They do get the refresh, but they're only 27 above.
Yeah, and still pressure on the other side of that build. And the problems continue because they have to go max distance on the other side of the zone. If they're looking to find some safety, and without any heals, no shields, no med kits that they can use, and running very, very low on build. So Misha, Teeny are going to have to find some sort of elimination and refresh on this rotation, and still getting tagged up through the sky.
Be careful here, just one shot away from Misha. 10 HP, just colliding against the rock could be enough to eliminate him here, as they are 190 above. Storm Surge is not going to affect them. Medkit gets dropped, and they start healing.
This is where they can kind of wrap down low towards the bottom. During the qualification, they were pretty consistent towards the top of the leaderboard, doing what they do best. Yanis still under pressure, 46 below, and that pressure just gets even more difficult to work with now that he's on the rotation, trying to find a spot in towards the zone. Ultimate low ground with still some damage to go, but he does have the Flowberry Fizz, does have some med kits, so he could try to heal this one out.
39 players, 22 duos in the water. Don't drown here, Yanis. You have to find something. 2 med kits could help him last a little longer, but with Storm Surge ticking, you have to be careful. 72 HP, med kit gets popped, and the pressure continues from the players below. Forced to cancel the med kit, build up a little more. He has a bit of wood, but with the shots coming through, I don't know if it's going to be enough time.
Still 58 below. First of the 2 med kits are going to come out. Still need a few players to go down before he's safe to Storm Surge, and almost means the second one being used rather quickly. He has to rotate. 149. Teeny's there. This is his opportunity to try to get some shots now that he has some elevation and he can look back towards the zone. No real opportunities to be found for Yanis. But so Cammy ends up in his line of sight. Shimoki as well almost became a target. Blessing in disguise for Yanis, but he's still below the threshold.
Now, Grapple Blade put to good use. He finds an option, but it's too risky as Yanis now just 6 builds left. Impact is needed, crucial, as he's put into panic. 50 below. Surge will start ticking shortly. If he's unable to do more damage, he sees Reason below. He sees all these players flying through the sky, but it's gonna be 68 damage. 18 now is all he needs.
Barely is able to get above. A couple of shots like that is going to give him a little bit more room in terms of comfortability before he goes to the front side yet again. Doing wonders here as a solo, but a refresh is going to have to come through. Out of materials, out of resources. Voko's Vortexers. First one's on the high ground, but Vidil on that mid layer. He could be the one along with Reason to try to take over that high ground.
Yanis taken out. Cammy still staying strong as a solo. 63 builds to work with. Medkit, Mythic, Flowberry has everything to continue clutching.
This could be his opportunity, but time is slowly but surely running out. Reckless Railways give him a little bit of separation with those builds that are already there. Reason, Vidil still battling for that high ground, but a lot of damage has been taken. They're going to get pushed further and further down low thanks to Vortexers and Voko.
Could this be it? Will they want to go for the high ground. Vortexes and Volko holding strong, but for how long? As there's only 7 builds left for Volko. Chop down now. Opportunity arises for their opponents as they build up. It's Axe Force looking to take it.
That was his chance. Roban's there to back him up. Volko doesn't have any builds. He cannot keep getting up higher and higher. He's going to have to let the fight come down to him, and that's exactly what came through. Vortexers did a good job of battling both Axe Force and Roban down, and even elimination happening to the backside of zone, but he wasn't able to get the mats. He's out of mats and out of time.
Cammy still up though, 4 elims to his name now, 18 builds as he continues to clutch as a solo, but boom, eliminated. Vadil, 5 on the board, Reason knocked down.
That's the med kits that he was able to found, and immediately starts putting them to work, trying to stagger himself back, get a couple more placement points. Vortex's Volko, they had high ground, and they're doing a good job of holding on to it, but both of them are weak. Slivers of HP, only shield to get passed around.
Ping, 1 shot away from securing an elimination. He does it. No medkit picked up though as he's continuing to build out. Mats are running low. It is a full duo down below. It is a full duo up above. The 2 versus 2 as Volko gets cracked.
That is a big shot, but Mixon goes down. It's all up to Pings. No HP, no builds. Grapple plating to hide, but it's not enough. A huge shutdown for Vortexers and Volko to take game 3. And they were the team Takata that was able to not only grab high ground, but finally hold on to it to the very end.
A crucial hammer pump shot to secure them the victory royale. They were contested through the late game. People time and time again trying to take the high ground from them, but they were landing their shots. They were connecting what needed to be connected, and from that, they got the win.
Yep. That team that you were talking about battling for the high ground, Roban, Axe Force, they were immediately dethroned and sent back to the lobby to watch this masterpiece. They knew they had their opponents down. They knew they had them out. They wait for the grapple blade, and 2 well-placed shot ends that run. Volko Vortexers have finally awakened for their